we have a new shocking biblical discovery. That's what the title is. That's what the thumbnail in this video right here said. And it's posted by the Christian Broadcasting Network. So it's looking like it's a pretty credible source to be getting information from. But at the same time, it doesn't matter what brand it is, who's putting it out. We always have to think for ourselves and ask ourselves, is this true or not? Is it more likely to be true or is it more likely to be false? That's the most important thing. But I'm really excited to watch this video because it's just interesting. You feel what I'm saying? Whether you believe in the Bible, whether you don't, you have to understand most of the world does. So now if they have now scientific evidence backing up the Bible, which many people say that the Bible is not true because it's not scientifically true, which that's a plausible reason to not believe in the Bible. This would almost be debunking that. It'll be making the higher probability that science actually does support the Bible. So let's see what is being talked about in this video right here.
Fascinating biblical discoveries have been uncovered at ancient Shiloh. This is where Joshua divided the land between the 12 tribes, where Hannah prayed for a son, and where the tabernacle stood for 400 years. Chris Mitchell brings us a first-hand look at how these discoveries are bringing the Bible to life.
In 2019, CBN News interviewed Dr. Scott Stripling, the director of the excavation going on in ancient Shiloh. 4 years later, Stripling brought us up to speed on what's happened here since we first visited this project.
Tell us, we were there at season 1. What's new? What's happened since then?
Well, in season 1, our hypotheses were just formulating. We thought that we had a monumental building up here from the pier to the tabernacle. We thought that this could be a gate complex because there was no glacis in this section. Since then, we've come way down, 5 meters or so, maybe 6 meters in some places. And so now we can see the various structures that are here, and indeed we can now say that this is very likely the gate that's referred to in the Bible. And that's pretty big stuff.
And what happened at the gate? Why is this so important?
Well, the Bible tells us that Eli is in the gate of Shiloh when he gets the news that the Ark of the Covenant has been captured, that his sons have been killed. He falls over backwards and dies in the gate. Yeah. So it's a function that's mentioned in the Bible, so we were very curious if we would come across it.
Shiloh is not only where Eli lived and died, but also the place where Joshua divided the promised land between the 12 tribes, where Hannah prayed for a son who became the prophet Samuel, and where the tabernacle of the Lord stood for nearly 400 years. Stripling gave us a tour of the site and took us to perhaps their most significant discovery.
This is where you came to connect with God. Jerusalem remains a pagan city for another 300 years. The Ark is here, the tabernacle is here, and this is where you came to connect with God.
And you believe you've found actually the tabernacle.
Well, I'm not ready to say I know for certain, but I'll tell you what we do have is a building that is matching the dimensions of the tabernacle. It's from the Iron One period, which is the tabernacle period of Eli and Samuel. And you're actually standing right now, Chris, on this wall right here. So this entire area is this massive monumental building, orients east-west, and it's divided on a 2-to-1 ratio like the tabernacle was.
So east-west is what the Bible says.
So he's basically saying he's digging up a building that's underground. If that's the case, at the end of him digging, there should be a building left standing. If that's what he's saying right here. I mean, nonetheless, what they're doing is absolutely wild. And thinking about it, I'm Jesus was here about 2,000, a little bit over 2,000 years ago. Do you think over 2,000 years, do you think 2,000 years ago, where they were standing was 6 feet below ground? You follow what I'm saying? Or do you think we still have, the same, level of ground? Because they're digging to get artifacts.
East?
That's right. The Bible says that.
And 2-to-1, what does that mean?
Well, the holy place and the most holy place.
Yeah.
So the Holy of Holies, if we're correct in our theory, would be right in here. This, between these walls, would be where the Ark of the Covenant was.
Can we go in?
Let's go. Come on. All
So
right.
what are we walking into right now?
I thought he was talking about going to the tabernacle.
This is the wall that would separate the holy from the most holy. Okay? So you're entering into the Holy of Holies. All right? So there's this big wall on your right. Down here you can see where we've reached the bottom. This is preserved to 2.1 meters.
Bugging.
And this is floor level. So this whole area in here, about where we're standing, come on with me here. All right. You're probably standing where the Ark of the Covenant was. How does that suit you?
It makes me feel...
Wait, they're inside of it right now. They're like literally inside of it.
Well, profound, for one.
Well, me too.
Yeah. How do you feel when you're here?
There's a sense of awe. I just have to tell you, professionally as an academic, I'm in awe. And then as an evangelical Christian, I'm in awe, you know, to have the privilege to be able to excavate a site like this. What I take from this is that God did something in history. He recorded it for us in the Bible. We have evidence of it here. One of the great things about our faith is that you can question it. You know, God's ego isn't bruised. People have questions, viewers do. That's honest, you know. Express those, and I would just invite people to look at that evidence. And if they've bought into the idea that the Bible's mythology or it's not historical, I would encourage them to look at what we're finding here at Shiloh, read the text, pray about it, decide for themselves.
And so this is where the Bible comes to life?
This is what we do. We don't just walk the Bible, we dig the Bible here at Ancient Shiloh. As we dig into the soil, we are literally seeing the evidence of what life was like in biblical times.
And nearby you also have a site of bones.
Well, I tell you what, we're in the bone business, Chris. Come on, I'll show you what it's all about.
Okay.
And this path is going to lead us to where the bone deposit is that we've been talking about. So the people working over here are doing something they'll never forget the rest of their lives. I mean, they are uncovering evidence of the sacrificial system. These were animals that brought expiation. I mean, it brought about the forgiveness of sin for people as they connected with God in this manner. So you'll see it for yourself. The pottery and the bones, they tell an unmistakable story that matches what we read in the biblical text. This entire area underneath our feet, Chris, this is...
this building is so crazy to discover because before Jesus came, you were only able to connect with God, like be in the presence of God in the tabernacle. You feel what I'm saying? But Jesus, Christians believe that Jesus changed that entire situation where you can be with God in your own home. You can be with God wherever you go. But for all of the time before that, all of the Jews believed that they can only be in God's presence in that building.
Excavated. Underneath your feet and my feet is about this much of solid bone waiting to be excavated. Bone on top of bone on top of bone. And we have microstratigraphy in this area so we can see that the deposition is laid down over a long period of time, just like the Bible says.
And what kind of bones would we find here?
Sheep, goat, cattle, and disproportionately from the right side of the animal. It's like just this morning, we're seeing disproportionate jawbones from the right side as opposed to the left.
You described it before, but again, why is the right side so significant?
Well, the priests are the ones who live here, and Leviticus 7 tells us that the right side of the animal is the priest's portion. So I can't make this stuff up, you know? You got 100,000 bones and they're disproportionate. Give me another explanation. Just happens to coordinate with what the Bible says.
Wait. I need to run that last part back. Because now we get into fossils and
Just like the Bible says.
And what kind of bones would we find here?
Sheep, goat, cattle, and disproportionately from the right side of the animal. It's like just this morning, we're seeing disproportionate jawbones from the right side as opposed to the left.
You described it before, but again, why is the right side so significant?
Well, the priests are the ones who live here, and Leviticus 7 tells us that the right side of the animal is the priest's portion. So I can't make this stuff up, you know? You got 100,000 bones and they're disproportionate. Give me another explanation. Just happens to coordinate with what the Bible says.
Hey, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Now, like he said, He's not saying that this is the place 100% fact, because that'll be like really hard to do. But he's saying all of the evidence that aligns with it being the place. So using that, you just go to your own conclusion whether that can be the tabernacle. When it came to those bones, I guess that's just like another instance that it was aligning with the Bible itself. So it's really crazy. I mean, there have been other instances where, like, scientifically the Bible was proven, or people believe that it shows that, you know, certain events in the Bible that most people don't believe. So I know, like, even when it comes to like Noah's Ark, I think there's a mound called maybe Mount Ararat or something like that. But it has like the indent of the bottom of a boat matching the dimensions that were explained in the Bible of what the ark was. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's something like that you kind of just need to do your own research and see what evidence aligns to it being true.